So we're here for another episode of the Atlanta Market Update. So if you're thinking about living in, moving to, or investing in Atlanta, you're gonna wanna stick around because it's pretty prevalent. You can just open your computer, your phone, look at national real estate news. I mean, real estate is hyper local. And so what we always love to do is tell you what's going on around Atlanta and then around the individual Atlanta suburbs like we are in today. So if you're thinking about Atlanta real estate, stick around and we're gonna get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about buying, selling, or investing in Atlanta real estate, well then you're in the right place. If you haven't already, do us a favor, subscribe below and ring the bell for notifications so that you know the current information in the Atlanta market and when we release new videos. My name is Denny, this is Hutch and Jeff, my partners. We are the Living in Atlanta, Georgia real estate team here in Atlanta, and we get calls each and every day from people just like you looking to make the move, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving next year, next week, or anytime in between, call, text, email. Our favorite is Zoom. Be happy to help you make a smooth move to Atlanta. With that, today we're going to be talking about the Atlanta real estate market, what's going on. Well, it's currently March, but we have the data through February of 2023. Before we start, this is my newest fashion statement.
How'd you get that, Denny?
I stuck my hand in the fire, I got burnt. I mean,
how old are you now?
4. 40.
Just fire hurts. Fire burns. It hurts.
Anyway, this is 3 realtors react to market data because you may think that all realtors think the same. We don't. Even 3 realtors on the same team, we don't. And so we're gonna just kind of candidly look at the data and talk about how we each interpret it, which is gonna be very, very different. So should be entertaining, for sure, educational, and then we hope it's helpful. We hope you get value out of it. So with that being said, we're at TBB, which is a bakery.
What does TBD stand for?
Theo's
Brothers Bakery.
Brothers Bakery. See, the only reason we're here is because it's next door to Pure, and I just had like 2 or 3 margaritas for lunch.
I watched.
It started raining. This is called Shelter. It's not a beer or a margarita, it's a coffee. And so, guys, what's going on in the real estate market?
Data man.
Well, let's not lead with the data directly. Let's go with, so February listings looked more like we're back to COVID again or something, right? You know, we've had these last few months where what we brought to market, it's been a little slow. Not slow in historical perspective, but for us.
Can you dive into that real quick?
Yeah,
what do you mean by historical?
It's not abnormal to have a listing sit for 30 days. 60 days. I mean, 60 days was pretty reasonable.
That's normal.
People would look at a home, they'd come back, they'd look again, they'd discuss, they'd go out of town, they'd come back from town, home's still on the market. You made a phone call, hey, can we go see it? Right? What we've been seeing for the past, even before COVID, right, is you had to make that decision 2 or 3 days. You knew there was going to be multiple offers.
2 or 3 days, people would be like,
lock it up one day.
Can I think about it or can I sleep on it? I said, you can sleep on it, you just won't sleep in it.
Let me give you this perspective. I was out with buyers Sunday afternoon. We saw 7 houses. The second house that they saw, they loved. We finished and they said, okay, we want to make an offer on it. I said, great. I pulled it back up on the listing system and it was already under contract 3 hours later.
3 hours.
Oh, hold on,
It went live that morning.
No, real estate is crashing.
Oh, yeah.
Real estate's crashing.
Yeah.
Are you in Phoenix?
No.
Oh, you must be in LA.
No.
Okay.
We're in Atlanta. Real estate.
Not crashing.
No.
So bottom line is, right, is given what we were seeing in February, me directly, you guys, and all the other agents I know, any listing that wasn't just absolute trash that was overpriced, gone that first weekend. And really, to your point, could have been gone in a day. The wiser agents, I think, in my opinion at least, we let the home at least be exposed to the market for the weekend because that's the home seller's best opportunity to get the best offer, right? Like, why are we in a rush to sell it in one night?
Even in the height of the frenzy in the last year or two, I got really frustrated and mad at agents who would like list on Thursday and Friday morning it was under contract. I was like, you did not do your seller You didn't do your job.
My people Sunday.
You just wanted your phone to stop ringing, so you were being lazy.
I didn't want 15 emails. I didn't want 20 offers, and I didn't want my phone and to keep buzzing.
Yeah, 24 hours. You haven't done your job.
My people on Sunday were willing to go significantly above list, but they didn't have the chance because that agent took it off the market in 3.5 hours.
Yeah, but I do agree with you, Hutch. Today's market in Atlanta and in Alpharetta is the tale of two properties. One, not a great property, or overpriced, or both.
Yep.
Those will sit.
Yep.
Those would sell a year ago.
Yep.
But good property, good price, good place, done. Our listing last weekend, if you haven't seen the video, go back, $650,000.
Beautiful house.
In Cumming.
Yeah, South Forsyth, good or highly rated school districts, right?
Right.
Well sought after. Come to market at $650,000. If you're listing a home, just remember what we list the home at is as much marketing as every other part of the process of exposing your home to the market.
If you're a good realtor and if the seller will trust you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's me knowing what works and doesn't work,
Right.
and it's them trusting me. So I have a great homeowner that I'm working with who absolutely, listened to everything that I had to say about it's not what you want. It's not what the rebuild price is, all that stuff. We're using pricing as a marketing tactic to get you greater exposure. Last Saturday, come to market Friday, we go active. So we have an open house Saturday afternoon, and it was like a carnival. You would think that there were like slides and rides, which some of the kids treated the staircase like it was slide. Yeah. There's a kid on the outside of the stairs and another one coming down. But yeah, 60, 70 people buried the place, completely buried it, all in one day. We had enough offers by Saturday night. We certainly could have pulled it down, but we allowed people to, with that kind of demand, we had a full booking of showings Saturday and Sunday.
So probably 100 people looked at it.
At least, if not more, right? And at the end of the day, we ended up with a bunch of offers, over 20 offers, right? And we ended up significantly over list price,
It hasn't closed yet, so we can't really say the number.
It was above list.
Significantly.
In a market that nationally they're telling us that prices are falling off by 20%.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The sky's falling if you watch CNBC or, CNN or somebody, right?
That's why you should watch Living in Atlanta, Georgia Real Estate.
But to their credit,
there are parts of the country.
that is the case.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're
there are
in
parts
LA,
of the country.
Phoenix.
San Francisco, even like Idaho, which like blew up. You know what I mean? If you're in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, it went 100% up in 2 years.
Right.
Yeah,
It's off 27%.
There are parts of the country right now that are down significantly, but I think we touched on this in the last video. Sometimes the headline reflects like San Diego.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right? Like where they've been up way more than the rest of the country, right? I think we talked about
Texas.
Yeah.
It's like way off.
yeah, parts of
But
Florida. Some of
It
the
was
cities
so hot.
for
It
7
was
years
so
in a row.
hot, Yeah,
Yeah,
Dallas is off, and Dallas is a great market. So is Houston, but
I don't know.
They're
Some
down
of the-
24%, but they were up 74.
Look, man, I grew up in Houston. If the devil gets angry with you when you're in hell,
he sends you to
he sends you to Houston.
Hey, but good.
That's the timeout.
Good company on Kirby. Dude, you want Tex-Mex and a margarita? I love Pure, but there's something about a margarita from good company on Kirby. But hey, listen, this is not living in Houston.
No, because nobody wants to live in Houston.
Yeah, and if you do, we can refer
We
you
actually
to-
know somebody.
We know somebody. So, there's 3 realtors here in Atlanta. We're gonna react to some of the February data. Looks like sales price for the last 2 years for sure, up and up and up and up and up and up. We peaked June 22.
Sure.
We're at 400. January 23, we're at 350. Sky's falling.
Look, Mark.
And then February, back up to 360. What's happening, Jeff?
Okay. It is a natural part of the market to have prices increase in the spring, level off in the summer, and then go down in the third and fourth quarter. And the reason for that is
that happens every year?
every year. Market's up, market's down. You will always have a dip from the end of summer when kids go back to school and most of the buyers finish buying to the end of the year. And the reason for that is that's when the stuff that was too high in the summer and has been sitting, the people that choose to sell have to make a price adjustment. So what that doesn't mean is that a $600,000 house became a $450,000 house. It means that the houses that were listed at $600,000 that had no business being there ended up selling at $450,000, which was what they would have sold for had they been listed there in July. So when you were talking about we have some houses that are not in great shape, haven't been updated and overpriced, those also sell.
So it's like unrealistic sellers. They're staring at the deadline of the end of the year.
That's correct.
And they're like, okay, what do we need to do?
This is what this is. Hutch and I both go into a party. It's 8 o'clock and some really attractive girl notices Hutch and goes and engages in conversation. I assume an equally attractive girl is going to come and talk to me, but at 10:30 I realize that's not happening.
At 10:30 you realize you don't look like Hutch.
I don't sound like Hutch. I'm not as smart as Hutch. I'm not as funny as
So
Hutch.
you can discount your price?
I have to there has to be a fire sale for Jeffrey to be a commodity on the market. I don't care if I got a cool vest. If my face doesn't look like that, it's not happening.
Hey, listen, if you're Denny, they overpay at 6 p.m. They're like ready to go.
That's why we didn't use you in the example, because
And there's a reason why he's the one on video all the time.
So from a pricing perspective, down into January, February, we were down, just to give you some percentages, June to January down 12, January to February up 3.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's normal.
Happens every year, and you can look at this graph, you can see it happen. And you can take this graph all the way back in the 60s,
Yes.
it will do exactly the same thing. The only anomaly is 2008 to 2010.
Okay.
Everything else is going to be exactly the same.
All right, so with that, homes for sale, a year ago, February, we were at 9,900, just under 10,000. Right now, inventory popped all the way up to 19,900. So doubled in October, and we're back down to 4,400. So we're 45% up from last year, but 25% down from 6 months ago.
Sure. Remember what we just said. Where were we 6 months ago? 6 months ago, we were coming into the heart of fall. That's the point at which the people who thought they were going to sell in the summer have either sold or they've given up. So they take their house off the market because the last thing they want to do is keep showing their house across the holidays when they have already decided nobody's going to buy. Denny, look back here. Drop. It's the same thing. The only thing that changes is where does the drop occur. But the drop always occurs in September to October, and then it picks back up again in February, March, every year.
No, Hutch, I'm looking,
farther back.
pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Right when COVID hits, we're at 24,000 homes.
Yeah. Yep. So when you look at a media headline, right? Bottom line is they're talking like yesterday, right? They're talking today. They want today's readers to look at. So let's just look at a short history, right? So pre-COVID in Atlanta, 24,000 home active listings at any given point. 24,000 active listings in February. And that goes up in the summertime and everything Jeff was just talking about, right? There's more demand, there's more supply in the summers. But specifically February's $18,000 to $24,000 homes, COVID hits. Boom, slash that.
2010, in the height of the crash.
Oh my gosh.
60,000 homes.
I was gonna say 50.
That was the highest imbalance sellers to buyers since the end of World War II.
Now,
Buyers
I wanna
market,
point out,
50, 60,000
we're talking about
homes in
our
Atlanta.
local MLS, not Alpharetta,
This is Metro Atlanta.
Metro Atlanta.
13 counties.
Mostly North Atlanta. 60,000 homes 2010.
By
2013, it was down to 26,000.
I was gonna say about
and
30,
it
25,
stayed
30.
in that range
Few
all
years.
the way till COVID.
Well, right before COVID, those last couple of years before COVID, if you look at it, it probably gets down to about 20-ish.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
we're 20 to 30,000 for
Oh, yeah.
a decade.
Yeah. That's
Very flat market.
Yeah.
very
But not for appreciation. just
supply
for
volumes.
Supply.
Right, that's supply. That's just
Homes
literally
for sale.
active homes for sale.
Right.
I mean, that's active homes for sale. I don't know about you, Jeff, right? But I was pretty happy real estate agent in 2016,
It was pretty
2017, right? It was demand, supply, active listings.
If you had a listing, you were going to sell it.
I was selling it.
Right.
You know?
Because nobody had anything to choose from.
None of this 50, 60 2,000 active listings where it was a buyer's market.
Right.
Buyers had to make a quick decision. 14 days, right? 21 days. I remember when we got to 30-something days, at one point I was like, oh, this is taking a long time. Completely abnormal though. I mean, 30, 60, 90 days is pretty normal. Anyway, we've been in this cycle for a while. What we've gotten into with COVID that I think a lot of, it was extremely low. Now, all the headlines reflect, nobody wants to buy a home anymore. Why? Because we have 12, 13, 14,000 homes available versus 8
That's still
versus 20.
Yeah, 20.
Right?
April 2020, 23,618.
Versus 20, which was a strong seller's market to begin with. So now that we're at 12, 14 active listings, huge demand, which is why I had all the multiple offers and stuff last weekend.
Side note, you know what else is in huge demand? Morning buns at TVB. Will change your life.
And Denny at 6 p.m. apparently. At 6 p.m.
Lord. Yummy,
So
yummy.
in our bar, you're the morning bun in the bar. I'm the banana bread.
Well, Ashley took that morning bun home about 14, 15 years ago.
And you've been there ever since.
Off the market.
Off the market.
You'll have to just settle for Jeff at 10:30.
One of the things that I noticed, Smarty, so our current trend line dropped so dramatically starting in April 2020 is about the time that we really begin to see inflation become an issue in the news.
Well, COVID hit, the central bankers, if you go back the 2 videos ago, I did an entire video on what interest rates look like, the Fed, how that's set, how that affects mortgage rates, all that stuff. Fed freaked out because they just assumed everybody went home, we shut down the economy, everyone's gonna go broke.
Nobody wants a home anymore.
Yeah, everything's gonna crash.
Nobody wants a home. Nobody ever buy a home.
Nobody wants shelter.
No.
So,
Forget Maslow.
aside from lowering rates and buying bonds, they put $10 trillion into the economy in 2 years, and that created excess of cash, which created demand for things. So people went and bought cars, prices of homes skyrocketed.
Well, they printed it and gave it away.
Cars
right? So you have
skyrocketed, watches skyrocketed.
you had no attachment to that check in the mailbox.
Eggs, everything, inflation rampant.
That's
So
what
you
we
see
should have all
from,
bought was chickens.
That's right. We would be killing it if we bought chickens.
stay tuned. I am currently building a chicken coop. There will be chickens. You will see it.
Danny, have you
Sorry.
got the tile finished in your laundry room yet?
The tile is finished.
Aha. So what we can expect is chickens in 2029.
As soon as he hires somebody, the same guy who finished his tile to finish the chicken
When
coop.
somebody comes and
These
builds a
chickens are
chicken
going to be
coop,
yard chickens.
When some dude shows up and builds that for him too.
He's going to buy 20 chickens and a hawk's going to eat them all in a week.
$5,700 for the chicken coop. I have now resigned myself to the fact that someone other than me will build it.
Yeah. I have a bunch of feathers in my backyard from the last hawk attack.
Well, I do
That's
have
what's
hawks.
happening to your chicken.
I have hawks, I have owls, I have coyotes, and foxes.
So what you're saying is you're going into the feather pillow business.
So I'm gonna have dead chickens. That's what I'm gonna have. Y'all, this is not a homesteading video.
No. Oh god.
Although
Well,
maybe
the
that's
reason
a
I brought this
different
up-
channel.
Because I know we need to talk about interest rates because everybody's really kind of freaked out about it. So everybody's panicking about interest rates. We talked about this the last time. The problem isn't necessarily the interest rate. Because if you take a historical mean for the last 40 years, 7.75 is the average interest rate.
Stomach went out there for a
The
second.
problem is when my dad bought a house in 1978, 4 bedrooms on an acre in Fayette County, it was a $62,000 house.
Yep, that's where
The houses
cost now.
in that neighborhood today are selling for over $500,000. So
Yeah, Coca-Cola used to be 25 cents too. Right?
correct. But the problem here's why people are having the heartburn is the difference in payment when you go up 1% in your interest rate is a 10.1% increase in your payment. So when we have gone from 3.5 to 6.5, we've gone up 33% in our payment. So
Correct.
guys, what are your thoughts on that?
He literally just like built a nuclear weapon and then handed it to us. He was like, so, hey,
I know what I think,
you
but I'd
guys,
like to
could
hear
you
from
please
you
put
guys.
that over there?
Well, there's a couple of things. One, I look at it from 2 perspectives: the buyer and the seller.
Right.
Okay.
Have to.
The buyer, if you got qualified in March of 22 at 3%, your buying power in June of 22
deeply eroded.
Yeah.
Yeah, you lost 20%.
Deeply eroded.
If you were under contract, you couldn't afford the house that
Correct.
you were
And that's what all the
intending on buying.
That, by the way, was all of the cancellations
Yeah,
and new
yeah.
construction
They
because it
couldn't
took
fit.
9 months to build the house and you
Yeah.
no longer could
They
qualify.
Couldn't.
qualify. But in the last couple of months, you've known you were going to be in the 6.5 to 7.5 or whatever
Yeah.
it was. So from an interest rate perspective, what frustrates me is when agents like you use the historical perspective. You know what the historical perspective for a first-time home buyer is? Has been looking at houses for 6 months.
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, true.
Like, I could give a shit that in 1980, Jeff, you paid 18% interest for your first house.
Well, and he bought half of it from Sears, and it came in a kit, and he built it.
You know, they didn't send all the nails, and I was so hot.
We had to go back to
I had to go
Sears and
buy
get more nails.
I was so mad.
And he had to dig the fieldstone portion out of his yard and add it to the facade.
And I say that jokingly because we're not immune to, like, we know that history doesn't matter if you're shopping for a home today.
Yeah.
But it does give you a little bit of perspective from the standpoint that you think this is as bad as it can get. Well, this is not as bad as it can get. The latest economic data was actually very strong, which was surprising. And the Fed that I did the video on, last week, that was talking about 5 or 5.5% was the most that they were going to raise the Fed fund rate to, and that they were going to only do it by like 1/4 of a point, 1 or 2 more times, because we're currently at 4.6. They're now changing their tune.
Oh, yeah.
So last week when I shot the video, I was like 2023 could be pretty flat. We're gonna see 5 to 5.5% from the Fed, which 1.5 to 2% on top of that would mean we're gonna be at 6.5 to 7 for perfect credit on a mortgage, 7.5% for normal people. And now that could be, like I say could be because you got crystal ball?
Yeah. No.
You got crystal
I
ball?
left it at home, sorry.
The Fed's talking about
Next
now
time we
maybe
need to bring our magic 8 ball with us. And when he asks us that question, we need to shake it up and go,
This is what it
signs
says.
point to
No,
yes.
we go. Just pointing to they could raise them more, faster. So instead of 1/4 point, it could be 1/2 point, 3/4 of a point. And instead of stopping at 5 to 5.5, they could be looking at 6 or 6.5. You add 1.5 to 2 on that, we could be looking in the 8s by the end of the year.
Easily.
And so I want to give you the perspective that looking at 3% like you missed something, well, you did. The best time to buy a house is when?
20 years ago.
20 years
ago. The second best time is when?
Today.
Now, because
Always today.
3% may or may not be a reality in the future, near or far term. We don't know, but we do know that right now all signs point to higher rates for the foreseeable future. So either you just accept that you're not going to own a home, or you buy what you can.
Can I ask you were talking about this earlier, Vinny. What did the median price do over the last 24 months here in Atlanta? Remember you were talking about that?
It's up.
Yeah, but it was a significant amount.
109% increase in equity in Atlanta in the last 2 years.
2 years.
Equity, not the
109%.
home price, but the equity.
So,
We're in the top 5 of the whole country.
well,
Yeah.
And I've mentioned this before, I'll mention it again in case y'all didn't watch all of our videos, which shame on you, like subscribe, hello, these are great videos.
mash the button.
But Atlanta has been in the top 5 or 10 of every measurable metric, every metric you can imagine. It's never like one because we didn't go insanely
Which is what's
overpriced.
protecting us today.
But the markets that went crazy are the markets that are falling the hardest. We're just like outperforming everyone in terms of growth and then outperforming everyone in terms of stability. It's really an interesting market.
Yeah, do you want to root for a team that wins the, World Series or the World Cup every once in a blue moon, or do you want to root for a team that consistently is up there?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to be
In the
like a
playoffs.
Boston Red Sox fan or
Be talking about that for
Do you wanna
30
be-
years,
do you wanna be
right?
Texas-
remember that
Do you want
time
to be Texas A&M or you want to be Georgia Bulldogs?
Hey, no offense, but like for a long time,
trying to stay away from football.
It felt like, do you want to be Alabama, who wins every year, or do you want to
Right.
be Georgia, who's still talking about Herschel Walker in 1981? Finally.
Okay.
Could
we edit
eliminate
that
that
part
whole
out of the
story.
video?
We brought it home.
I feel like that shouldn't
not
be in the
once,
video.
but twice,
Wow.
back to back. And hey,
I think Augusta.
Make fun of those Alabama people who only won all those years in a row.
Hey, listen, we're only looking for relocation from around the country and around the world.
This video is not for you if you're in Georgia
Yes.
or Alabama.
Yeah, we've got enough Alabama fans, and we also have enough Chicago Cubs.
We are
fans.
totally kidding,
A little.
kind of.
Back to the when's the best time, 20 years ago versus today. What's going on in the South, in the Sun Belt, and especially in Metro Atlanta is very similar to what happened to Southern California in the
Yep.
late 70s to the early 90s.
100%.
If you had bought a home in Southern California, in LA County, in the mid 70s, that was about an $80,000 to an $85,000 house. The people who lived in 1985 were looking back and going, I could have gotten this house for $85,000 and now it costs $200,000. But do you know what a $200,000 house in Los Angeles is worth in a good neighborhood today?
I bet you do.
$2.5 million. $2.5. So when you think, in
Hey, you
terms
know
of
what?
land-
If you live in California, if you fast forward to 2033, it'll be worth $200,000 again.
That's exactly. And if you don't believe me,
Because rates will go up enough and it'll drive it down.
No, here's the deal. Everything has a cycle, and if you look
Yeah.
back at the winner in the 50s was Detroit. Home prices were going through the sky,
Right.
and for a 15-year period, they have growth after growth after growth. Today, they're giving away those unbelievably expensive houses for $10,000 to $12,000 to $15,000.
Yeah, I do
That's
feel
happening
like
in California right now.
I do feel like the Southeast is having a bit of a resurgence in terms of
Probably
like,
on a 20-year curve.
yeah, demand and desirability. Everyone, if you look up the fastest growing populations in terms of states,
Yeah.
it's, you know,
Texas, Florida, Tennessee,
Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee.
North Carolina, South Carolina.
The weird thing, and I can't explain this. I haven't dug enough to, but ironically, Louisiana and Mississippi
They're
have
exploding.
no.
Really?
Yeah. They are losing net population. So I'm
Really?
looking at the Southeast
People are
going,
crossing state
yeah, I'm like,
lines.
what are these two states? Like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with Louisiana and Mississippi? Because Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Texas, boom. Louisiana, Mississippi.
Here's what I don't want to
Bust.
run past. We say, when was the best time to buy? And Hutch says 20 years ago. And I say, when's the second best time to buy? And Denny says, right now. Going back to our California model, if you find yourself in 1985 grieving the fact that you should have bought 10 years ago and don't buy
Today.
in 1985, look at what you missed. Here in
Yeah.
Atlanta, you can grieve the fact that interest rates used to be 3.5%. And a year ago, you could buy that house for $350, but today it costs $465, and it's 7 7/8.
Yeah. Yeah.
But where is it going to be in 5 years? And real estate we buy because it's the only thing that over time consistently goes up in value.
See, the thing is that if you think inflation, has there been periods of time of deflation in this country?
Yes.
Sure, short periods of time. Just
Very
like buyers markets, they're short, very short.
Deflation never lasts, except for the Great Depression. Deflation never lasts more than 16 months.
Right. And it's similar to a buyer's market,
Correct.
right? It's the same tale.
It's just
and
an
you know what
anomaly.
causes buyer markets mostly is deflation, right?
Yeah.
See, real estate's a hard asset, right? Like gold and minerals and stuff. So the bottom line is inflation finds its way into hard assets, which
Every
is
time.
all the time,
Yes.
right? And because markets are inefficient, in actuality, in periods of inflation, there's always that period of time where people are just craving the asset, so they buy it maybe a little bit more than they should pay. Long term, though, even with these short blips of it not going up, it comes down. I mean, it just goes up and up and up. So 1930, economic catastrophe.
Catastrophe.
Yeah.
1929, total crash.
2008,
Same deal.
okay? Ugly.
How many times in the last 100 years?
I mean, there's been people born, died in that period of time. You're never going to own a home the whole time. You have to pick. You can't wait for the catastrophe
I always
to
say-
buy,
yeah, I
right? You
always say
can't
it's-
wait
it's
for the
time.
catastrophe.
It's time in the market, not timing
Correct.
the market.
Super wise.
Because-
Super wise.
To Hutch's point, the chance that you're going to time the bottom of the market is a million
Slim
billion
down.
to one.
Yeah. You're not going to time
Even
the top,
the
you're not going to
genius-
time the bottom. Here's
hey.
the problem. The people that did get lucky and they bought at the right time or they sold at the right time, they
It
think
wasn't
they're
because-
smart.
Okay, the smartest
Including
people.
myself. It's like, oh, it was brilliant.
What's Warren Buffett buying today?
Real estate and autos.
What's
Real estate
what's Elon
autos.
Musk buying today?
real estate.
Yeah.
All the
What's
smart
Bill
people
Gates
are looking
buying right now?
real estate.
Yeah.
He's buying half of the western part of the United States because they're not trying to time the market. They're
No.
looking at the
Well,
historical
let's face
trend
it,
and
the
going,
government,
it's going up.
let's be honest, the government printed $10 trillion in 2 years of COVID. They didn't print 10 trillion acres.
No. Plus, you can't print it, right? You can't. So, until the only threat to real estate on the face of this planet is some sort of
Is
way
virtual
to
real estate?
No.
Yeah.
$10,000
an
make
acre
another
for the-
planet.
It's the colonization of Mars.
Right. Or
Is
the
the
moon.
threat
Or
to,
the moon. You
to
can
the United States.
If you can engineer an environment around the moon, then I would
Free
actually
dirt.
be like, we figured out a
people
way
are
to
gonna
print-
leave.
Yeah, people might leave. But until then, it's a commodity that you can't just wave a magic wand. Like money, unfortunately, the U.S. dollar, the euro. I mean, you could just
Just
print
a mash
more
of
of
button.
it. We just
They
printed
don't even
more of
print
it for December.
That's the beauty. They don't even print it.
You literally push a
Yeah,
button
It's
now.
just zeros on
Yeah.
the dollar.
So to wrap this up, there's a few more things. Days on market. Back in 2010, we were at, wow, what's that? 73 days on market. Right at the hit of COVID, 36. We bottomed out at 6 days on market here. We're back up to 30, which is basically a month on the market.
Yeah.
So we went
It's a
from
reasonable time.
we went from a balanced market to a super seller's market to we're getting back to where there is all I think this tells you is that tale of two houses. The one that is not is overpriced or not, in good condition is gonna sit. You can't be irrational as a seller. Sellers, not all sellers have come to that realization yet. So listing like the last one, 650 in 3 days, 100 showings, 20-30 offers,
Yep.
overpriced. That's still the case.
Yeah.
You had people called you on the first day and tried to negotiate. You're like,
Tried to get me to pull it off the market if they gave me why. I'm like, no, because I got Z coming,
Yeah,
right? Like
so-
Z's gonna trump you.
So there are the ones that take 2 months, and there's the ones that take 2 days.
Right.
That's kind of where we're at in terms of the market. The specific suburb, the specific price point, the specific property, like all of that is why you unfortunately can't watch a video like this and be like, oh, now I know it all. Like you have to call, text, or email so that we can have a conversation about you, your individual circumstance, and what in your goals and dreams, what you're trying to accomplish, and try to work that out for you. But this is not the pre-COVID market. This is not the COVID market. This is another market.
Right.
It is.
But fortunately, it's the Atlanta market.
And we know a little bit about that.
The Atlanta
Yeah.
market is a great place to be.
So, well, I hope you got a ton of value out of this. If you haven't already, you should subscribe so you can stay up to date on the market like this. And if you are moving, whether it's next week, next year, anytime in between, or if you want an investment property, I believe Atlanta is one of the best markets today and with all the forward-looking data we have. So call, text, email, schedule a Zoom. We'd be happy to help you make your real estate dreams come true here in Atlanta. And until we see you in person, hey, by the way, we saw one of our Swedish clients in person today for lunch right over there.
That's right.
So we do actually see clients in person, but
Did she bring you any chocolate? Because she didn't bring me any chocolate.
No, he took it all. Ashley's wife took it all.
Ashley took all the chocolate. That's where my chocolate went.
until we see you in person, we hope to see you on the next episode.